Today, we're going to talk about something huge. It's about shifting your mind from running on autopilot to becoming its architect. This is about moving from just reacting to whatever life throws at you to actually, consciously designing it.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? For most of us, our minds are just set to default. We're like passengers on an airplane run by autopilot. Thoughts and feelings come and go, and we just kind of follow along for the ride. But what if you could actually walk into the cockpit and take the controls?
Well, there's a key to that cockpit door, and it's called metacognition. I know, it sounds like a complicated $50 word, but it's actually super simple. It's just the power of thinking about your own thinking. The second you start to notice how you think, you're not a passenger anymore. You're taking control. And honestly, this is the single biggest mental upgrade you can make.
Okay, so first things first. Before we can upgrade the system, we've got to understand how it works now. So let's dive into what we call the autopilot mind and what it really means to wake up from those default settings.
Look, autopilot isn't all bad. It's great for stuff like brushing your teeth or your daily commute, but it becomes a real problem when it starts running your whole day. It's sneaky because it makes being comfortable feel like you're making progress. You're going through the motions, checking off the boxes, but you're not actually choosing where you're going. You're just coasting.
So, how do we take back the wheel? The very first step, and this is where the real work begins, is learning to see what's happening inside your own head without immediately reacting to it. Think about that little voice in your head, the one that's constantly whispering things like, "You look stupid," or "I always mess things up." Well, those are automatic thoughts. They're just mental background noise. And here's the kicker. The goal isn't to shut them up. That's pretty much impossible. The real skill is to just see them, to catch them in the act and label them for what they are, just thoughts.
Here's a tiny language shift that is a total game changer. Instead of saying, "I am angry," which kind of glues that emotion right onto your identity, try saying, "I am feeling anger." See the difference there? It's huge. Suddenly the anger isn't who you are. It's just a temporary experience that's passing through you.
This technique actually has a name. It's called cognitive diffusion. All it really means is the art of creating a little bit of breathing room between you and your thoughts. When you can see them as just passing mental events, kind of like clouds drifting through the sky, instead of these permanent solid realities, they start to lose their power over you.
All right, so once you can see your thoughts, that's level 1. Now for level 2, we start to question them. This is where we grab a shovel and start digging past the surface to find out what's really driving us.
Let me give you a simple but incredibly effective tool for this, the why twice rule. We all ask that first surface-level question, right? Why was today so bad? And the answer is usually just an excuse or a simple summary, like the traffic was awful.
But here's where the magic happens. The second why, that's where the truth is hiding. Ask yourself, okay, but why did the traffic really make me feel so bad? That's the question that cuts through the easy answers and gets to the core belief or the fear that's actually running the show. The first why explains what happened. The second why explains you.
A huge part of questioning your own assumptions is being brave enough to just say, "What if I don't know?" This is what they call the beginner's mind. When you let go of that need to be certain, to be the expert, you suddenly open yourself up to brand new solutions and possibilities that your ego would have totally blocked before.
So, we've learned to see our thoughts and we've learned to question them. Now, let's actually put all this into practice. This final part is all about using that new awareness to act with intention and make some wiser moves in the real world. Okay, here's a super practical one for you. The 10-minute rule. An impulse hits, that urge to eat the junk food, to send that angry text, to click buy now on something you don't need. Don't fight it. Just pause. The rule is to simply wait 10 minutes. That urge is like a wave, and if you just wait it out, that wave will usually pass, and you'll be left with a clear choice instead of a compulsion.
This brings us to another brilliant mental model called inversion. Instead of asking, "How can I be successful?" you just flip it on its head. What would absolutely guarantee that I fail? Honestly, avoiding stupid mistakes is way easier and more reliable than trying to be perfect. Just identify the traps you need to avoid, and progress starts to feel almost automatic. Now, check out this fascinating little piece of science about our emotions. You know that initial intense rush of anger or frustration or anxiety? Well, that's just a chemical wave in your body that on its own only lasts for about 90 seconds.
Yep. The only reason an emotion lasts longer is because we keep feeding it with our thoughts, replaying the story that caused it over and over and over again.
So let's bring this all home. This whole journey we've been talking about is about one thing: becoming the architect of your own mind. It's about making that shift from a life that feels kind of random and out of your control to one that feels like it was designed by you.
And it's so crucial to understand this. Real intelligence isn't about memorizing a bunch of facts. It's about how well you can think. These techniques aren't just clever little party tricks. They are the actual tools and habits you can use to consciously design the way you experience every single day of your life.
So here's the ultimate takeaway, the one thing to remember. Your thoughts are not you. They are just mental events passing through. What truly defines you is what you do with them. So the real question is, now that you have these tools, what are you going to do next?